Hello everybody, my name is Kaisei Toda and today I would like to present to you about how to run an effective meeting. And the contents are by Mark Holzman and Michael Auseman of ManagerTools.com. Here are the list of the 10 points I'll be showing you today, and I'll be explaining the list one by one with details. First vital point to run an effective meeting is pre-posting the agenda. Inform the attendees the meeting name, the start time and the finish time, where the meeting will be held, and list of the leader, facilitator, attendees in advance so that the attendees will know if they are on the right meeting or not. Next, starting on time. It is essential to start on time. The presenters should be getting ready before 5 to 10 minutes before the meeting begins and start the meeting on time. And you don't have to wait for all the attendees to arrive. Whether there is nobody there or not, start your meeting on time. Also, don't focus on people who's late and continue driving on. Catch the attendees who's late after the meeting or during the break. Sticking to the agenda is also an important point to run an effective meeting. If the presenter is about to go over time, tell the presenter you will have to wrap it up gently and stick to the agenda. If the presenter still wants to present, let the presenter present after all the agenda on the list is finished and if there is time left at the meeting. So stick on time and don't let the presenter go over time. The next vital point to run an effective meeting is using a parking lot. This is a powerful tool. Using a parking lot helps avoid losing new ideas and concerns, and the parking lot should be discussed at the very last of the meeting. Some people are uncomfortable with the parking lot, but if you don't do it, your chances of standing on the agenda are incredibly small. The next point on having an effective meeting is setting ground rules. And this ground rule uniformly applies to all the meetings. So the main ground rule would be like informing the agenda in advance, the start time, sticking to the agenda, and so on. Also, it can get simple, such as no cell phones during the meeting. For everyone to see the ground rules, it would be best to write in a piece of paper and post it on the wall or something where everyone could see it. Next, fixing responsibility. This is the next important point. At the end of each agenda, summarize it, and if there's anything uncertain about the point, choose someone that will research, and don't just say, Mr. A, please do this. Ask it as a question. So like, Mr. A, will you do this? Okay. So that Mr. A can make a public commitment. The next important thing on having an effective meeting is finishing on time. Whether if you have 2 to 3 agenda to cover, and if there's no time, reschedule the agenda onto the next meeting or email it to all the attendees. However, there is an acceptance of this. At 10 minutes before the end of the meeting, and you believe in an additional 15 minutes at the most, stop 10 minutes in advance and get an approval to finish the agenda. If there's no acceptance due to the attendees later on schedule, end the meeting and the presenter walks out of the meeting room so that attendees will feel free to go. Next important thing is publish in minutes. All minutes are who said they're going to do what and what we decided on. If you have an admin and the admin doesn't appear in the meeting, you don't have to do the minutes. But if you do, let the admin take notes and highlight who said they're going to do what was decided, and what was reported. This minute is a series of a bullet. There is not a lot of discussions, not a lot of details, and not a lot of summarizing. And you don't have to summarize the whole meeting. If you don't have an admin, then rotate who's responsible for the minutes and avoid the person in the minute that has a significant role contributing or presenting. Or the facilitator can take part in minutes as well. Last but not least, continuously improving our ability to conduct meeting in the future. So how do we do this? Even though we set up some ground rules and standards and takes about over 3 or 4 months, we tend to drift away from them. So every once in a while, you put it as one of your agenda items to help us review what our ground rules are. Are we following our principles? Looking at the ground rules and asking whether if we are developing, and then if we agree that it is working, we follow. But if not, we have to change them. The last important thing is having a facilitator. A facilitator is a person who encourages statements and participation and arranges the flow of the meeting. Having a facilitator is really hard, and a lot of managers struggle with this. They are separating the leader from the person who runs the meeting itself. Run the meeting means enforcing the ground rules. And this means that the facilitator helps the leader reduce the burden of the meeting. Also, it helps timekeeping as well. Here are the 2 resources I have used on my presentation. And thank you for listening to my presentation.